But how do dimensions actually represent themselves? And what I looked at was that there was the way that most of the academic world thinks that dimensions represent themselves in higher dimension. And this is all fundamental to us being able to experience higher dimension. There has to be a math or a source code for people to be able to experience the higher dimension in order for us to all experience a higher dimension. And that's what's happening now. So basically what came in next was, I started looking at this from the standpoint of, there we go, this. So this is the way that academia thinks about higher dimension. And that's actually not how it works. So I was playing with this, trying to just see and model it out, how it should, how everyone thinks it works. I mean, it looks kind of cool, right? It is kind of cool. And I was playing with this going, okay, well, that's interesting. But then when I actually got into the math of it, I realized that this is all built off of more spatial dimensions, but there's not actually more spatial dimensions. That's a mind blower. How can that be? There's not more spatial dimensions. There's only 3 spatial dimensions. We thought that there's more spatial dimensions, but there's actually not. And that's what this work showed, because it wasn't written that way inside of the 2-dimensional right triangles. The higher dimension that shows up is only the context that it has more breadth in different omnidirectional sort of like gyration. So this is what we think of as the 7th dimension. This is what we think of as the 6th dimension. This is what we think of the 5th dimension. But it's completely not proven that way in the mathematics. And so I'm going to show you what the real higher dimension looks like with the proper mathematics. And it's actually this. It's breathing. So we could start with the number 5, right? Or we could go to, like, say, the number 12 or 24, and you can toggle this here at the bottom. So the number 12, and then I'm going to look at it as the first dimension. There are 12 separations, right? But then it projects into the 2nd dimension, and nobody ever notices that there's this little triangle inside of this thing. You see this triangle? It's just simply a right triangle, right? So I started looking at the proportions of it, and I thought, well, maybe that right triangle can project into higher dimension, the number 12. So then I took the proportions of it and projected it, and that's what it looked like. Static. So then you rotate it, it goes to the 4th dimension, and then you get to the 5th dimension, it makes this. And it's breathing. That's pretty wild, no? So then we go to the next dimension. It's like the 6th fold. You can think of these as folds and unfolds. So that's 6th dimension, then it starts rotating in omnidirections. So that's what the 7th dimension looks like. The good news is, because there's only 3 spatial dimensions, you don't have a hard time seeing it. Once you see it, you can see it. It goes to 8th, 9th. It's getting more and more complex, but it's alive, and it's just on different rotational axes. All of this starts just from this, the one first dimensional compression of it. And this first dimensional compression has all the information necessary for all the higher dimension. So you could say, wait a minute. That means that the monad, which is at like the 12th dimension, has all the information in it of me, which is just sitting here in the lowly 4th dimension. And I'm on my journey back to that through each of these recursions. That's my hero's journey. That's true for all of us. Wow, isn't that mind-blowing?